All right, hello to my absent honors students. This is Mr. Hotard. I made a little video for the lesson that we missed on writing quadratic equations using some points without having to type everything into our graphing calculator. So before we do these examples, these are all in Google Classroom. You can print your own or you could just write them down on loose leaf paper, but we need to review your formulas. If you recall from not the last test, but the test before that, when we were graphing the quadratic functions, there were three formulas, three ways that the quadratic function can be written. There was standard form, there was vertex form, and there was intercept form. Okay, standard form, if you recall, was y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Vertex form was y equals a parentheses x minus h squared plus k, and intercept form was y equals a parentheses x minus p parentheses x minus q. All right, so if you look at example 1, we want to write an equation of a parabola that has a vertex of negative 3, 5 and goes to the point 1, 21. Since we know the vertex, which of these forms do you think it would make sense to use? The vertex form. So let me just write the formula we're using here. Y equals a parentheses x minus h squared plus k. Okay, and we know the vertex. Remember, which letters are the vertex in vertex form? H and k. So I know the vertex negative 3, 5, that's my h and k. All right, and then I know this other point. It could be any point in the parabola. I just know that's x, that's y. What do I not know in this formula? I don't know a, so I'm going to plug in these numbers, solve for a. So I'm going to plug in 21 for y. 21 equals, I don't know a, parentheses, the x number is 1, minus h, so minus negative 3, going to be a plus 3, squared, plus k, going to be plus 5. And I'm going to solve this equation for a. So 1 plus 3, that's 4, was 4 squared. 16, so I have 21 equals a times 16, so 16a plus 5. And I'm going to solve for a. So subtract the 5. 21 minus 5 going to be 16 equal to 16a. Divide by 16. I get a equals 1. That's a. So now that I know that, I'm ready to write my equation. Your equation should always have the letter x and y in it. So my equation would be y equals, the a number we have was 1. Do we need to write the 1? No, we don't. So just parentheses x minus h, so x plus 3 squared plus k, so plus 5. That would be the equation of the parabola with vertex at negative 3, 5 and going through the point 121. So why don't y'all try number 2? Pause the video, see if you can answer number 2. Did you do it? I hope so. So number 2, if you're doing the same thing, it should be this. You should get a equals negative 4. All right, you're going to plug in 2 for h, 4 for k, 3 for x, 0 for y. So 0 equals a, parentheses 3 minus 2 squared plus 4. So 3 minus 2 is 1 squared, so I just get 0 equals a plus 4. A is going to be negative 4. Plug that in for a, and there's your equation. Y equals negative 4, parentheses x minus 2 squared plus 4. Okay, by the way, if you get to a point where like, wait, I don't understand what he did, feel free to email me with any questions you have. So now, let's apply this to a word problem. If you look at example 3, we're going to do this one together. The graph shows the parabolic path of a performer. Try to say that 3 times fast without spreading COVID. Who is shot out of a cannon. Y is the height in feet. X is the horizontal distance traveled. We want to write an equation of the parabola. And then the performer lands in a net 90 feet from the cannon. We want to know the height of the net. So ultimately, we're trying to find the height of this net right here. We know it's 90 feet away. Now, just looking at the graph, it looks like it's close to what number? Looks like it's somewhere around 20, a little bit bigger than 20. So let's do the same math we did for these problems. So I'm going to use that same vertex form. Here's the vertex, so there's h and k. Here's x and y. All right, so I'm going to plug those in. Y equals, let me just write my formula, a parentheses x minus h squared plus k. And so there's my y, 15 equals, I don't know a, parentheses x is 0 minus h is 50 squared plus the k is 35. And so negative 50 squared, that's going to be positive 2,500. I'm going to solve for a. So subtract the 35. 15 minus 35 going to be negative 20 equals 2500a. Divide by that 2500. And you could just type this in your calculator. It's going to be a decimal. It'll be negative 0.008. That is a. So now I'm ready to write my equation. My equation would be y equals negative 0.008, that's the a number, parentheses x minus 50 squared plus 35. There's the equation. Now, it said, use that equation, we want to find the height of the net if the net is 90 feet from the cannon. So horizontal distance, that 90, is that x or is that y? That's x. So I'm going to plug 90 in to this x. And I could just type that in my calculator. Y equals negative 0.008 times 90 minus 50 squared plus 35. And when you do that, you should get 22.2 feet. Okay, so now I want you to flip that paper. Well, it's not on the back, it's just on your second page. But on the second page, this is the same thing, it's just some word problems. I want you to pause the video now, try to answer the word problems. Okay, I hope you did it. Let me show you the answers for the word problems. Okay, up at the top, the vertex is 619. That means after 6 days, 19 students are absent. If you do the same work we did before, there's h and k, there's x and y, so plug it into the formula. And so when I work that out, a is going to be a fraction. You get negative 18 over 36, which is negative 1/2. So your equation is y equals negative 1/2 x minus 6 squared plus 19. And then question C asks us to predict on day 10. So just plug in the 10, you get 11 students. And then down at the bottom, the vertex is going to be 9, 3. 9 is halfway between 0 and 18, and the problem tells you that the height of the arch is 3 feet above the water. So 9, 3 is your vertex. Plug in those numbers. This is x and y. There's h and k. You should get, for the a value, you get negative 3 over 81, which reduces to negative 1 over 27. So y equals negative 1 over 27, x minus 9 squared plus 3. Okay, so that's writing equations when I know the vertex and one other point. So if we go to the last page now, not that one, we just did that. All right, what happens if instead of the vertex and a point, what happens if I know the x-intercepts and a point? All right, then I'm not going to use vertex form. Which of those forms would make more sense if I know the x-intercepts? The intercept form. All right, so let me just write the formula we're using. Y equals a parentheses x minus p parentheses x minus q. Do you remember what p and q tell us? That's the x-intercepts. That's where your graph touches the x-axis at p and q. So now, in this first example, we want to write the equation of a parabola with x-intercepts 8, negative 6. That's p and q. And then this other point, it goes through just that point. That's not the vertex, that's just a point it goes through. That's x and y. So I'm going to fill these numbers. Let me just write my formula. Y equals, get that on the screen, y equals a, parentheses x minus p, parentheses x minus q. And I'm just filling in those numbers. Y, we said, is negative 14. I do not know a, parentheses, x is 12, minus p, so minus 8, parentheses, x again is 12, minus q, so plus 6. And I'm just going to work that out. So 12 minus 8, that's 4. So I'm getting negative 14 equals a times 4 times 12 plus 6 is 18. And now 18 times 4, what's that? 72. Negative 14 equals 72a. And so if I just divide both sides by 72, I'm getting a equals, I get that fraction, I could reduce that. That's negative 7 over 36. That is a. So I'm ready to write my equation. Y equals that number, negative 7 over 36. Again, I want to have the letters x and y in my equation. So x minus p, so minus 8, parentheses x minus q, so plus 6. All right, why don't y'all try example 2 now? Pause the video, try to do example 2. Okay, example 2, the a value should be -3/5. So if you plug in, again, -1 is p, 5 is q, x is 4, y is 3. So plug it in like that. You're solving for a. So 4 plus 1 is 5, 4 minus 1 is negative, or 4 minus 5, -1. 5 times -1, we get 3 equals -5a. Divide by -5, we get a equals -3/5. So my equation is going to be y equals -3/5, x plus 1, x minus 5. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And so now we're going to do these last two examples together. Example 3. A meteorologist creates a parabola to predict the temperature tomorrow. X is the number of hours after midnight. Y is the temperature. We want to write the equation of the parabola and then find what is the coldest temperature. Now, this question we kind of answered just looking at the graph. Where is the coldest temperature? It's right here at the, what do you call this point? The vertex. And you can kind of tell that coldest temperature is -10. Now, it might be slightly off. It might be -10.2. It might be -9.8, something like that. We'll have to do some math to get the exact answer, but we know it's close to -10. All right, so let's just write our equation. So y equals a, parentheses, x minus p, parentheses, x minus q. Which numbers are p and q? The x-intercepts, that's 4 and 24. This is p, this is q. I don't actually have to use these zeros. All right, this other point is my x and y. So let's fill those in. Y is 9.6 equals, I don't know a. X is 0 minus p, so -4. Parentheses, x again is 0 minus q, -24. And we're going to solve that equation. So that's -4 times -24. That is going to give me positive 96. So 9.6 equals 96a. And then solve for a. Divide by 96. 9.6 divided by 96, I get a equals 0.1. So now I'm ready to write my equation. Y equals 0.1, x minus p, so x minus 4, parentheses, x minus q, x minus 24. There is my equation. Now, I want to use that and find the coldest temperature. So we're looking for this y value. In order to find this y value, I need to know the x value. If you think back to not this past test, but the test before that, where we were graphing the intercept form, if you knew the two x-intercepts, do you remember how to find the axis of symmetry? It was the number right in between these. You can either count toward the middle or you can add them and divide by 2. So 4 plus 24 is 28 divided by 2. And that middle number is 14. So I know axis of symmetry on this graph is x equals 14. And I want the y number. How can I find the y value if I know x? I can plug that in to my equation. So my y value is going to equal 0.1 parentheses 14 minus 4 parentheses 14 minus 24. So that's going to be 10, that's going to be -10, 0.1 times 10 times -10. That one will actually give us -10 degrees Celsius. All right. It wasn't a decimal, it actually was -10 degrees Celsius. Okay, and then the last problem. Almost done. Example 4, I want to write the equation of this parabola. Now look at what they gave us. Did they give us what we need for intercept form or for vertex form? The answer is both. You could solve it either way, using intercept form or vertex form. I'm going to do it both ways. If this were a test question, you could do it either way. You wouldn't have to do it both ways. But I'm going to do it with intercept form first, since that's what we've just been doing. So intercept form, my formula would be y equals a, parentheses, x minus p, parentheses, x minus q. Which numbers would be p and q? It'd be the x-intercepts, -2, +4. So I'd use that as p, that as q, and then I wouldn't use the zeros. I'd use this other point as x and y. Doesn't matter whether it's the vertex or not. I don't need the vertex for intercept form, but I just need some other point on the graph. So I would plug those in. Y is 5, I don't know a, x is 1, minus p, so +2, and then x again is 1, minus q, so -4. Work that out. So 5 equals a times 3 times -3. So that's -9. So 5 equals -9a. What's that mean for a? it's negative 5/9. So that means my equation would be y equals negative 5/9, parentheses, x plus 2, parentheses, x minus 4. That's if we're using intercept form. Now, if you were solving this with vertex form, do this and then we'll be done. Vertex form, y equals a, parentheses, x minus h squared plus k. If we were using vertex form, h and k is the vertex. What would be h and k? It'd be 1 and 5. So that would be h and k. And then I would need one other point on the parabola, either one. I wouldn't need both of these. I would just use one or the other. So I could use this point right here as x and y. All right, so if I do that, here's h and k, here's x and y. I don't need the third point. So vertex form, I'd say y is 0 equals, I don't know a, parentheses, x is 4 minus h is 1 squared plus k is 5. And I'd work that out. I should get the same a value using either method. So 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 squared is 9. 0 equals 9a plus 5. And that will give me the same value for a. If I subtract 5, negative 5 equals 9a. Divide by that 9, it's telling me a equals negative 5/9. Same as that one. So that means my equation in vertex form would be y equals negative 5/9, parentheses, vertex now, x minus 1 squared plus 5. Okay, I hope you understood that. Feel free to email me with any questions. On Tuesday/Wednesday, whatever your day is, we are going to do some more practice with this, and then we are taking a test at the end of class, so you could just make that test up when I see you again the following week. Y'all be safe, have a good one, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.